Hello, and welcome to No Place Like Home and Mike and Megan Norp, where we believe the center of the universe is your home, and our home, and every other home on the planet. On this podcast, we talk about anything related to that. Parenting, homeschooling, gardening, relationships, really anything, as long as it has to do with being home. Welcome back.
It's been a little while. Since we've been here. I mean, you and I have been together this whole time, but it's been a while since we've been right here, sitting on the couch with microphones.
Yeah, I think, did we record one right after we came back from Esther's senior trip?
We might have. Yeah. Did we? Boy, we should know that, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we're not the only ones going through this. Because, well, I know we're
going
not.
Through what?
Well, I'm about to say.
You're about to say? Okay.
Because I talked to a friend a couple nights ago that's in the same place, and I've read 2 articles now about it. But after all of us being really careful not to get sick and interact with people where we might get sick with whatever they have, and now we're done with that phase of life, and none of us have immune systems anymore.
We have the weakest immune systems ever.
Yeah, and so I actually read an article just this morning about how the isolation, people don't have the antibodies that they usually have. Even babies aren't being born with the antibodies they usually have because the mom during her pregnancy is usually interacting and like building up antibodies to little amounts of things she's coming in contact with, and then she passes those on to her baby. Yeah. But moms during the pandemic weren't doing that.
Whoa.
There was no need to. And so they're just seeing like normal illnesses that are always in the community just be a little different than usual. Like the flu is pretty big in May when it usually isn't. Oh. And so that's kind of what happened to us. We've been just like, I got a cold in France.
Like just before and then, yeah.
Well, I didn't know it was a cold. I thought I was having allergies. And then when we got there, I'm like, how am I having allergies here? It's like a totally different climate. And
this was when we took Esther to France for a senior trip.
Our 19-year-old today daughter.
Yeah, it's her birthday.
And I was like, oh no, I'm sick. And so that was really hard. I tried really hard not to, you're trying hard not to show it. I didn't want to like ruin her senior trip. So I'm like, yeah, it's fine. It's
I know,
cool,
you were really trying to be
like,
upbeat.
'cause she'd be like, how are you feeling today, Mom? I'm like, great. I'm feeling so good. I really enjoy this. No, but it was really thankfully.
And also we tried not to show it on the videos too, because we didn't want to have Mom sick in the videos.
Yeah, that's true. And because everybody's a little different about when people have sickness these days.
I know.
But I was there. It was but no, it was really only a couple of days, and that got better. But then we got back and
I got sick.
Yeah, so we can't record a podcast when one of us is sick. That's really hard to do. So you think, well, next week we won't be sick. Mm-hmm. But then I got the cold you got when we got back. And then Daniel came home, and that week we couldn't do it because of the busyness. And then the next week we were in Mexico. And then we got back from Mexico.
And I got sick.
We both got sick.
Again.
And this time we got COVID, guys. We finally got COVID.
It was the COVID. So
the Rona.
It finally hit our family. And Pearl had it. I had it. You, Asher.
Peter.
And
Andrew.
Peter. And Andrew. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Elijah didn't get it because he had already had it.
He'd had it before.
I guess he didn't get it. I don't know why Esther didn't.
And then somehow Esther, Eve, and Jude have avoided it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I went through the family. So
it was pretty rough, too, for me.
For you, it was. For me, it was like
Pearl
3 days.
And Asher, it was rough.
Yeah. Although I think I got a little bit of
yeah, we both do.
Cough, but we're clear of it. It's just like
the remnants.
Yeah.
So like each week when we were sick, it was like, oh, dude, I can't believe we're sick again. So next week we'll be able to do this. But what is that now? It's been
I don't
a
even
couple
know.
of months.
I should go look. I should really look and see when we posted the last one. I feel like it was actually after. I know we did one after the first Mexico trip with the kids in January or February.
Yeah, but then we did How to Raise a Genius 1 and 2.
Did we?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
So yeah, I mean, definitely, if I were our boss, I would fire us.
Yeah.
Everybody is getting sick way more than they used to because we stopped getting like, because I guess when you're just living your normal life, you're always interacting with small amounts of viral and bacterial problems.
Infections.
Yeah. And your immune system's like, nope, nope, nope. And it's like a good familiarity it has with those. And so, it's always like building up like walls to keep them out.
Yeah.
Or, immune responses. And because we didn't interact with society for 2 years, most of us, now when we're going back, we got nothing. Yeah. Our body's like, whoa, I don't know how to do this anymore. I thought you were living in a world with no illness. And so we keep getting sick. And so we're like, oh, man, we're taking vitamin C and zinc and getting sunshine, but hopefully this summer helps.
Yeah.
And
And then also in Mexico, you had we both got a little bit of a stomach bug too.
Well, I definitely was a little brazen with my my street food consumption.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I'm a world traveler, I know, actually, I didn't think that. I was just like, well, last time I was in Mexico, I was fine. So if I was fine with the small amount I ate last time, I might as well eat everything without abandon. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so I the last day in Mexico.
And we were at the water park / adventure park.
Yeah, it's like an adventure park, but you're wearing your swimsuit because sometimes you go in these like caves for swimming. So if you can imagine worst case scenario for where you would like to have bowel issues.
That's it.
Because I didn't keep getting in the water. I don't want anybody to think I did that, but like I have a swimsuit on and I'm like going back and forth to
you got in the water at first, but then after
this started, I just like sat in like a hammock that was near a restroom that wasn't like, because a lot of times in these water parks or whatever, the public restrooms are like forever away. But thankfully, like miraculously, I found a restroom that was right by some hammocks.
Yeah. And we also didn't show this on the vlog for that day.
It seemed a little tasteless, a little tacky, but I just kind of I just went back and forth and like, where you're like, as a woman, when you wear this like swimsuit and you're just like, it's hot and you're just like, peeling it off again and again and again and wondering if the woman who cleans the restroom has noticed that you've gone like 8 times.
Oh, man.
But we couldn't leave. We paid a lot of money to be there, and it's Daniel's last day of his senior trip.
So consequently, we actually didn't do as much at the park as we probably might have. But also, Daniel was kind of tired by that last day,
Yeah, you're right.
Too.
He went and laid in those hammocks and slept forever.
Yeah, he slept for like 2 hours.
We finally woke him up, like, hey, buddy.
So we actually we did not do everything there, but still made a video out of it, and but didn't share kind of the stressful part of that day.
Well, and then that continued. We got to the hotel, like it was like a Marriott, right? And I immediately quick waddled past the check-in to their restroom down there, and then I looked pretty classy too. A day at a water park.
This is too much information, I think.
Feeling sick for the day at the water park. You show up looking pretty classy at the Marriott.
Oh, I know.
They're probably just like, who is this woman? We
went straight from the water park to the hotel, at the airport.
I was looking pretty rough. And then I'm like, dude, whatever, that's worst case scenario. But then I realized, no, actually it isn't worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is to have this problem on an airplane. Yeah. And that's tomorrow morning. So I'm like, oh, please no. But my pleas were not answered. Oh. And I got to the airport and I discovered that I wasn't the only person in Mexico who's having these problems.
Yeah, you're on the way out of Mexico. Those bathrooms are pretty busy.
I felt a little it made me feel a little bit better, like the shared experience of all of us.
As you're all in there. Yep.
And then, on the plane, the stewardesses just don't make eye contact because you're back there again.
Through there. See, to me, it wasn't that noticeable, and I was sitting next to you.
Yeah. It ended on the plane. That was kind of the end of it, so that was good.
This is why I know that we probably have a more successful YouTube channel if we showed all that stuff, all the drama and the pain of some of this travel. But we don't, because we just don't feel like doing that. We don't enjoy recording that, but really I don't mind
My better angels tell me not to. I used to be a lot more open and then you kind of like get comments and
well, because you could have made this dramatic day of like Megan's sick at the park or I don't know.
Yeah.
You could really spin that, but we didn't.
It seemed a little tacky too. I mean,
well,
like,
it is
who
tacky,
wants to hear about my?
But
I mean, here we are.
But if you want the views, you got to do it, man, and put like you looking sick on the thumbnail. That's what we should have done. For those of you that are aspiring YouTubers, that's what you need to do to be successful. Do not follow what we do.
Diarrhea, show it on your channel.
Talk about it. Don't necessarily show it. But I did imagine in
like a boxing match when like they have like a round like ding. We could have done that with how many times I went to the restroom.
I know.
So many times.
Okay, next time we're in Mexico and you have diarrhea, we're gonna do that, okay?
Yeah.
Well, also, we didn't ever show you being sick in France either. And we didn't show us being sick at home. So I guess we obviously put it on here in the podcast. We don't mind talking about it later. But in the middle of it,
you know why
we don't show it.
It's because people can't comment on here.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, they can review us.
Yeah.
But it's not like a video where like it's like this
we get
back
to
and
hear
forth.
Everybody's feelings about how we handled our sickness or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Norps were sick essentially, or out of town.
Or like major life events. So you're just like, I can't do it this week.
Or things get busy with all this stuff going on because there's a lot of commotion with Daniel coming into town, Elijah coming into town. We had a visitor come visit as well. And then last week our air conditioning broke. That's what happened. We couldn't even come up here because our air conditioning was broken. When I had COVID,
I couldn't even like be in my room because the whole upstairs was like a boiler room. It was like in the high 80s upstairs and like 88 degrees up here.
We've had quite a couple weeks or month here. Yeah. And it actually still isn't fixed. Isn't
happily hot. We had a cold front.
See, that's another thing. We could have made a video about our air conditioning being broken in 90-degree weather and like been all dramatic about it, but we didn't.
Yeah.
Man, lost opportunities.
Worst. We're the worst.
We're never going to be successful YouTubers.
No.
Or podcasters for that matter, because we don't do that either. But,
something I want to talk about. I am still coming to grips with the fact that, as you become a parent and you take that on as your identity, and for me and you, I think very happily, we love our kids. We really enjoy being their parents. But like, that's like really a very short phase of life.
Mm.
And
yes, that hit you this week.
Yeah, like, I mean, it hits you again and again, but you realize, like, no, I haven't really believed it yet because Elijah called last night and he wants to kind of transfer to a school in Japan maybe eventually. Did you notice how many, like, qualifiers I put in there to, like, lessen it?
Yeah, to make that a little bit.
He kind of wants to.
Maybe he won't.
Eventually, maybe.
Because you don't want to accept that.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay. And as I'm on the phone with him, I'm like, I'm not having the excitement that he is. And I'm like internally, like trying to like figure that out. And it's like, Megan,
conjure that up.
You do not live with your parents and you haven't for 25 years.
Uh-huh.
Like,
even longer
you never
than that.
would. That would be crazy. And no, I think it's about 25 years. And your children are not going to live with you. Or maybe even down the street from you. I think I'm kind of like, that's my like, okay, you can move out. But you're going to live down the street.
Yeah.
Like, better live really close. And it's like, oh my gosh, my children are all leaving in the next few years and never living with me again. That's weird. Like, what? So what? That's weird.
Yeah, it's like the classic, like, you look at people with younger kids and you're like, it's going to go by quick. And which is when you have those young children, you don't want to hear that.
You want to punch people in the face for saying that.
But suddenly you turn around and kids are starting to leave and they're not coming back.
You're like, wait, we just got into this thing.
Like a long time.
Like we just really started grooving with this thing and now you're leaving? Like that's strange.
It's weird.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
It's like, so I guess I come up with another identity.
Well, and I don't think it'll be a really difficult transition because we all do what we do and we're not, like we can be independent of the kids as far as what we do, but it is strange. And in fact, this morning I was on a run And
just had to work that in.
I always have to work that in. Anyways, just on my run, out there doing what I do.
I just run. I just love to run.
run.
Did I mention that I went running this
Actually,
morning?
I haven't been running because I've had a hip injury. Add that to the list of
old man.
Everything that's going wrong in our lives. That's what it feels like this podcast is. But I'm running, and I go by this guy who's with his child in a stroller.
Yeah.
Who's crying, and you always see went out with the intent to go on a run, and this baby is just not having it. And I remember being there because I remember taking Elijah and Andrew out in the stroller trying to do a run, and how demoralizing that can be as a parent. Because you're like, I just want to exercise. Okay, can I just go on a walk without a crying child with me? And I wanted to like say something to them, but also I knew like that's weird if I stop and be like, "Don't worry, Dad, you're gonna make it.
You're doing great, buddy." He's
Someday.
like, "Get away, weirdo."
I know, but I thought like, don't worry, like that will move on, and then obviously, as we all always say, you'll miss that part in some ways, but.
Remember how like it's so funny? I think we didn't do it after Elijah and Andrew because we just gave up. But
no, we didn't give up. But I think our schedule sort of changed, and we had the ability to
maybe run or
to have someone watching while the other one went, all that kind of stuff.
But do you remember how desperate? Because like they hit this age where like they want to run.
Oh my gosh!
And so you have to like let them out of their stroller because you'll do anything, and they're like trying to run with you.
I have this memory.
At, like 3 years old.
We lived in College Station, Texas, once upon a time for about a year. And I had this memory of like being on a corner of a busy street with one child in the stroller, probably Andrew, and then another one like trying to like either ride a bike or run like you're saying, but wanting to run out into the road, and the other one like crying. And I remember like trying to wrangle two children as I'm also trying to exercise and just being like, what the heck is going on here? This is a real whatever.
But it just goes so it takes, it's like the days are long but the years are fast or whatever. Like you feel like I can't do this. So often you feel that with young kids and
daily almost.
Yeah, and then here we are. And I know that when you're in that phase, people like us seem forever away because I remember treating them like they were like
old people. We're old people now.
We totally are. We have a lot of like younger couples in our church congregation because of where we live, and there's that
mix. I don't know.
And so I see them not think of me.
They don't consider you.
No, yeah, which is fine. Or they just think I'm like they don't. And I remember doing this. You don't consider me for friendship. Because I'm in my 40s, like, even these young moms in their early 30s don't realize how fast that's going to go, like, because they have young kids. And I mean, it's true. Like, we're totally doing different things, when they're going to do park days.
Yeah.
But
you are living a different life.
I don't know. Like, it's just weird. And
but that's what you want, though.
It is. It is exactly what I know. I was like saying to Mike last night, like, everything, because like everything is going as it should. Like I should, this is great. This is a good thing.
Yeah, you want your kids listening to me now.
It is a good thing, Elijah. I'm glad that you have exciting plans and that you're building things with your life. It is. But I just want you to come home.
Just stop.
Is that too much to ask? Because I really thought in my brain, I tried for a split second. I'm like, so are you just gonna stay out there? For the next year as you prepare to go, like hoping it's like, you should maybe come home and save money.
Prepare here.
Yeah. I'm like, you're so pathetic. He's not coming home anymore.
I know.
Like, except for like holidays.
You never
and stuff.
know what life brings. And then also last night we had Daniel was talking to us about what he's trying to figure out what he's going to do. And he'll be leaving at the latest by the end of the summer and maybe earlier. So they're all just doing their thing, man. Esther's getting ready to go. She's going to go and do her mission work, probably late summer, early fall, and be gone for 18 months. So it's happening, and it happens to everybody. So it's just part of life.
Yeah, it's like all of aging, though. You really don't think it's going to happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, that won't happen to me. That's gross.
It's not gross.
No, the aging part.
Yeah, well, you say that when you look in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't, but I do.
No. So anyways, I guess that's another thing that I've been thinking about. And what I have done, as you have watched now, when you guys, this is a new thing that's never happened to me before. When I look at older women, I like really look at them now. I'm like, okay, Megan, like that's you in a few years. That's something you really don't think is going to happen to you.
Like you're doing
you
research
really
now?
don't. You really don't think it's going to happen to you. You just don't. It's like you can't compute it. And so then you see these older women and I like look at them. I'm like, you are a person. You matter. Like you've had a whole life and like you didn't always look like that. Like I think we do that to like old people.
Yeah.
Like we forget that like they've never been that old before.
Yeah, they were young too, like us.
Yeah, and like they're not used to looking that way.
And they
like,
also
and when they're
probably
like
know a little bit more than you do too.
When they're walking down the street and it's really painful, you're like, you never felt this way before.
Yeah.
Like this is hard.
Mm-hmm.
And more power to you also.
Yeah.
Because like
that you're doing it.
Like because a lot of people don't. Yep. And so anyways, that's I guess maybe that happens to everyone. At some point you get over that hill, that proverbial hill that they always talk about. And then you see this whole valley of people and you're like, I hadn't even considered you before. I'm sorry. It's maybe terrible.
Boy.
I didn't like ignore
culture.
Old people, but like I hadn't considered myself to be of the same species. Same thing as you are.
Yeah.
So
life lessons, folks.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting for me, at least, and maybe a lot of you aren't there yet, but one thing, I don't know if we'll ever be able to convince the young girls to put on sunscreen. I don't know if we will. But that's legit.
Your major like regret in life was that you didn't put sunscreen on.
Like, and you just think like, what? No, we young girls, a lot of them hate how, especially, obviously this is white girls, but like hate looking pasty and white. And we're so excited to get some sun and to get bronze.
It seems so healthy or looks so healthy.
Yeah, you look so much better. You've just convinced yourself that looks better. And it's like, I know, I did it too, but like,
you will pay the price.
You can put bronzer on, but you can't take off the aging.
I know.
So
I've tried.
It's like I wear sunscreen now. Would have been more effective if I started at like 15, but
totally. But hey, who does?
Yeah.
They don't ever listen.
Nope. They won't.
So young girls out there,
maybe you will.
Listen up.
Not that it matters. I have to accept that too. It doesn't matter. You got wrinkles. Get over it.
Get wrinkles and get over it too.
Yourself.
Yeah.
That's a great lesson that also I think, like, it's kind of cool that life gives you the ability to get over yourself. Because, like, really, old people a lot of times are invisible.
Sadly.
Yeah, like, people don't look at them. And as you get older, they, like I said, the younger people don't consider you. You don't get looked at in the same way.
No, you're not as valid,
Or just like it's like you can move through a room without getting noticed. And some people find that quite alarming. But I remember, thankfully, my older sister telling me it's kind of great, though. Because like you can kind of just be like, oh, I'm not going to worry about any of that stuff anymore. And I'm finding that to be true. Like, it's kind of great. Like, I'm not going to do that anymore. Like, I'm just going to do whatever I want to do. And like, you guys can keep doing all that dumb stuff. And so, like, life gives you the ability to like realize what matters and what doesn't. Life gives you the ability to kind of humble yourself a little bit. I've been thinking about meekness. Meekness is like the quality of like when we think about meek, a lot of times we think of like a little mousy person.
We think weak.
Yeah, we do. Meek. But I'm talking about like the kind of meekness that is like very humble and wise. Like an old cowboy who's just like, I don't know about that, but I'm listening, I'm learning.
Yeah.
Who's not like so brash, I guess. And whenever I think of somebody who's
like needs all the attention or whatever.
Yeah, who's very wise, who considers things a little bit, who recognizes that there might be more to consider before moving forward. And when you think of someone like that, you usually think of an old person. Like the old turtle in Panda. Kung Fu Panda.
Right.
He's just like, he's very meek.
And he's
turtle.
at peace. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, because he's not, and so it's like, that's one happy thing. Life you don't have to do it, but like it does give you scenarios and experiences to make it a little bit easier to be meek. And also like, that's what's really cool. Like if you want to be a cool old person, that's the kind you want to be.
That's what I'm looking for, a cool old person.
Yeah. One who's a little like a lot wiser, hopefully, a little bit slower to judge a person or a situation, and who spends time in their garden.
Oh.
You know, just a little quieter, more thoughtful, I guess.
Uh-huh.
That's like,
You're painting the type of old person you want to be.
Yeah, I do. I've even pinned like old ladies that I'm like, okay, I can do that. I can do that.
On Pinterest?
Yeah.
On your Megan's, whatever you call it.
I think it's called like
circus?
Aging Well or something like that. I don't know. Like, okay, I accept it. I accept it.
Well, and
I mean, when you're a kid, you're like, you think teenage life is the pinnacle, and you watch all these movies about what it's like to be a teenager and all like the crazy antics and the parties and the popularity, and like being a teenager is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, it's not like you haven't done that before in your life. You look forward and you decide what kind of teenager you're going to be, or what kind of college student you're going to be, or whatever, what a kind of adult you're going to be. And so it's like, I guess we don't have as many movies to show us.
Right.
Like how to be cool and old.
There's lots of old people movies, Megan. We just don't watch them yet.
No, yes, we do. We totally have watched them.
Okay, maybe right. All the aging actors and actresses end up in these movies. But
there's not quite as many. And I'm not interested in, like, so it's like, okay, I want to be a nice old person. I want to be like really wise and like, and a little quieter, a little bit more thoughtful.
Another thing I was thinking about along those lines was this idea of aging gracefully. And I think it becomes more a topic as you get older and you start watching the wrinkles form and all that kind of stuff. And you see that physically there's a way to age gracefully too. And I feel like people are chasing youth with lots of weird
because now aging
stuff.
Gracefully means like with a little help from your friends of, chemical help from your friends.
Like all the injections and whatnot.
Treatments.
And I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but I feel like that is a road that doesn't necessarily lead somewhere good, because you're trying to uphold something that just can't be ultimately. And
it's like crumbling and you're trying to keep it together. And it's like,
just let yourself be old. It's okay.
Yeah,
I think okay to have wrinkles.
Yeah, and people say like, hey, whatever makes you feel better.
Maybe it's easy to say when we are in our 40s and we haven't like really, but I know that there are people our age and even younger that are already doing things like that to try to like, whatever.
Yeah, and a lot of people say, hey, whatever makes you feel better. It's like, no, but the point is, maybe you should find another way to feel better than your face. And that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe that should be a gift to you.
Yeah.
That like it never mattered anyways.
Uh-huh.
And now you can't compete. You can't do it.
Yeah.
And so instead of like doing things that are probably not very good for you and usually aren't really convincing anybody.
No, it just makes you look
I know, kind of inhuman.
Sorry.
But it's like maybe it's just time to stop worrying about your face so freaking much, your look so much, and maybe just let go of like needing to look young.
Yeah.
Like maybe see that as a gift of like, you know what? Yeah, I'm old.
Right.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself, be healthy,
And there's like an exciting, sometimes I'll have like, I've had a few times now where I like will look at you and I'll see some of your wrinkles. And it sends like it sends like a thrill through me. Like we're really doing this.
Uh-huh.
Like we're on this crazy adventure. We will become old people together. Like,
and we're going to die.
Yeah. Which is the biggest adventure of all.
Because we all do it.
Everybody dies, but like...
We all want to act like we're not going to die, but we're all going to do that. It's
like the ultimate, like everybody's like, oh, we could travel to like other dimensions or other universes. Like, well, yeah, you will. You're going to die.
Yeah.
And there's the great beyond. It's the ultimate adventure. But it's appropriate time. I'm not saying, anything. But I think it's like, guys. No. Like, accept it. It's a gift. It's a gift telling you, hey, you did that, and now you don't have to anymore.
What, the youth thing?
Yeah, and like you tried hard to like, compete and to look hot and to get attention for your face, or to somehow your value you believed came from having smooth skin. It's like now maybe find value in something else.
Yeah.
So when they say like, hey, just do whatever makes you feel good, it's like, no, find another way to feel good.
Yeah.
Find another thing that brings you peace and makes you realize that you have value. That you don't have to be hot. It's not your job. It's not your job to be young. Like, it's not. Everybody gets to do it. Let somebody else do it now.
Mm-hmm.
You go do something else.
Yeah.
And so, and so kind of like you do have to, I think, be proactive in finding your identity. And so just like I have to do with motherhood, like I was saying how my sister, is ahead of me, and watching her transition with motherhood too, it's like she's found new identities, new purposes, new things. Because like, it's really, I don't think it's wrong to give yourself to your children wholly and fully in this phase. Especially because it is just a phase.
Yeah.
Like be all in. But then you do have to find something else to be all in because it will not require as much of your time. And so I have little things I'm putting to the side. Like I do want to, this is so old.
Uh-oh. The old lady's coming out.
I found out that there's like long distance walker clubs.
Oh, yeah.
And where like they'll do like 50 milers over a 2-day period, and everybody will like stay in a hotel, and they'll do somewhere.
You're saying young people don't do this? No. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. They'll go somewhere really pretty and walk like a really pretty 50-mile stretch, or an interesting 50-mile stretch. A lot of them are in like England. And so I'm like looking forward to that someday. I'd really like to do that. I like walking.
Well, and I think the idea also is as an older person, you have the time to do so. Because like you said, you aren't taking care of a toddler.
Well, you're not bringing your 3-year-old on a 50-mile walk. That would be like a death march.
Could be a cool video though. I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you start thinking about different ways you're going to spend your time. And I think also I was listening to the person who is the president of our church.
Oh yeah.
And he is 90,
almost 98.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh,
he's 98 this year.
Old. But I was listening to a speech he was giving to all the they call them young single adults of our church. That's what they call them, that age group, 18 to 30. And he said I'm old. And he said, and now that I'm old, I don't spend my time doing things that don't matter.
Oh yeah, because I'm almost dead.
Right, and
like he knows, like he's so close to being dead.
He made a joke. He said, "I don't buy green bananas anymore."
Yeah.
Right. But I think the point, what he's saying is that he's realized there are so many things we do that are probably don't matter.
Yeah.
And we're all at different phases. There's different things that matter at different parts of your life. But I think that's a valid question to ask yourself. Like, what do I do with my life that matters or doesn't matter? And why should I wait until I'm old, in quotes, to try to do more things that matter than don't?
But I do think that's another gift of aging. As you get those wrinkles, it gets clearer and clearer. As your eyesight gets dimmer, you get a better understanding of what doesn't matter. And I think one of the gifts of turning about 40, it's not like it happens on your 40th birthday, but I think when everybody hits their 40s, they've seen the styles come around because it takes about that long.
Yeah, I know.
And you're like, wait, what?
You start to realize how this is just a stupid game.
It's a game.
To get you to buy stuff.
It's a really dumb game. And then you like hear your parents like, that is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. You're like, it's cool. like my mom would make fun of these shoes I had in college. They were like huge platforms, like foam flip-flops.
Yep. Those are
cool. And she called them my Frankenstein shoes. They were huge, like black, ridiculous. And I thought they were so cool. And it's like she was in her 40s, probably late 40s, maybe 50s. Early 50s. Yeah. But that it's like you released. Suddenly you're like, you can be. I mean, obviously there's people who are still obsessed with it, but it's like, oh, it's just a dumb game. And then they just also, they're just trying to sell us stuff.
Yeah.
They just decide what's cool. So then we're like, okay.
I'll buy the next thing.
I'll buy it. Even if you look like an idiot. Because so often you look at young people, you're like, that's not doing anything for you, honey.
Everyone looks like idiots out there that
they do.
Wearing the new style.
No, some of them, and that's another old person thing to do where you like text your friends pictures from like ads.
Oh, right.
You're like seriously? Can you believe this? Like, is this really? Like, that looks disgusting. Like, is this a joke? Is this like
we're being trolled?
I know. That's what it feels like.
Like the Illuminati are on a boat somewhere. And they're like, let's see if to wear this crap.
You've gotten old where you think the new fashions are just the Illuminati trolling you.
Because it's true. They are.
And you're like saying stuff like, they just want to look ugly now. And then like you suddenly feel like a memory comes back to you. Like, I believe my mom said that.
Yeah.
Like, are you just trying to look ugly now?
Well, and also...
And it's not flattering at all.
Yeah. That was a good line. But also you realize that they're just recycling the same stuff again. Yeah. Like, really, like, the things that are popular now were popular when we were in high school.
But no, they weren't even popular a lot of the times. Like, we all, like, sent around, like, Urkel. Remember? Because, like, Urkel was, like, dressing as nerdy as possible. Like as meme nerdy as possible in the 90s. And now, like, that's, I mean, a few years ago, it's kind of gone out. But, like, that was, like, what the cool kids wore. You're like, no. Or, like, now what I feel like is the girls dress like your totally dorky middle school teacher.
Yeah.
They, like, wear these dresses with the tennis shoes. Like, the big white tennis shoes that, like, people that, like wore at jobs where they wanted to have, like, non-slip, like, shoes.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And it's like what the young girls are wearing with, like, a pioneer dress.
It's like, I don't understand.
It's like, well, I guess it's fun. You look terrible.
Isn't that great?
We're laughing because we're so old.
Yeah, we recognize that. But it also is nice to just let go and be like, I don't care. I'll just wear what's comfortable.
Yeah, and like,
no one's looking
I get
anyways,
it.
and I will just
and then you actually look at what old ladies are wearing, and they're wearing just like these elastic waist pants, like suits, like a little, like with a matching shirt, and you're like, yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
That's comfortable.
Yeah,
do that.
Little loafers, and a cardigan.
Yeah,
because they're like, listen, I've been through it all. I've worn it all. This is the best. I'm telling you. This is the most
someone
comfortable.
Who's got some experience.
Like, this is easy to pull off and on when you got to go to the bathroom 50 times a day, which concerned me a couple weeks ago when I was in my tight, wet swimsuit. My gosh. Oh, that was a good, humbling experience. You do not feel cool.
Being sick is always humbling.
Yeah.
That's a mortality for you.
Yeah, and you lay there and, like, you were totally fine, like 48 hours beforehand, but you're like, I am sick now.
I will never be well again.
I will never be well again. I don't even know.
This is what I do.
Which is...
like, I will always be grateful for being well.
Yes, I will never, what is it called? Take for granted my health again. And then
a few days after you're better, you're like, what?
Yeah, I don't even remember what it feels like to be sick. So...
Well, I think maybe being older is another thing. You appreciate it more because maybe the times of being sick are fewer and far, like they get closer together.
Yeah, maybe.
I hope not, though. I'm hoping not.
What that also brings me to is Daniel's home from his mission, and that, and Esther's about to leave, like you said, and it's like I hadn't actually planned too far in advance mentally. I think I'm grateful that one of the gifts of 2020 and 2021 for me was it finally like wrinkled from my hands. I held so tightly to my plans.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'll do. And if I don't know what's ahead and I'm not planning for it, then I cannot be happy.
Oh, yeah.
I remember always feeling that way. Like, I want to know where we're headed. And then 2020 is like, yeah, that's funny. In 2021, like, you're not in control.
Yeah.
And so then you have to find a new way of being okay. Like, okay, well, I don't know what's ahead. I think a lot of us feel that way in the world. And so, then we had to learn, like, to make goals again, like, and trust that good things are ahead, but hopefully in a new way where, like, but, who knows? Maybe it'll change. So I'll be, I will adapt. I will.
Next month everything could be turned upside down. Who knows?
Yeah. But it's like, that's okay. But I'll just move forward. And so I'm a little bit like, oh, I got to make some mental plans now for, this was kind of like I just get through that and then we'll see. And it's like, okay, well, we got through it. So I'm going to turn 43 years old in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Lucky you.
Yeah.
That's a great age.
It's kind of a nothing age. I mean, it's fine. Really? Oh, yeah. Really?
I don't know. I don't really think about it.
Another gift of getting older is not caring so much about your birthday. You're like, it's not that big of a deal. Let's just.
And it feels a little ridiculous to talk about getting older. We're still in our early 40s, but it feels like we're older.
Well, we are older than we used to be. We've never been older than this.
Right now could be like, you got a ways to go yet.
I know.
Kids.
I know, but it's just kind of like, I totally feel like this is like, we are entering a new phase of like, yes, you're youngish, but the young people don't think you are.
That's true.
The only people who think we're young
don't like us.
are the older people. Like if there's 2 camps, we went into the second camp now.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm totally fine with that. And because we are kind of young, so it's not like we have a lot of pain or,
suffering,
which is inevitable. your body's going to get funky
wear out
things.
a little bit.
Yeah. But
not mine.
Nope.
Oh, wait, it already is. I got a hip pain right now as I'm sitting here.
Oh, but you know what? There's so many exciting things ahead. There's gardening, there's bird watching, there's long distance walks, there's learning how to watercolor.
You're right. Those are all very exciting.
What are some of your old person goals?
I don't have any.
None?
Not really.
You have no idea of what you'll do with your time when you're old?
I just want to do more of what I do now, I guess, which is like taking care of things. I like taking care of things. I like getting the trailer all ready to go. I like going on RV trips and fixing stuff.
Yeah.
I am totally cool with like puttering around.
Oh yeah.
Like taking care of things.
Yeah, didn't we listen to somebody once talk about there's like putterers and then there's different type people age differently.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't hear that.
Some people who like to putter around.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
with
like
that.
fix the fence.
Yeah, take care of business.
Yeah.
And it's great because you will have the time to do it. As long as you have your health to do it, that's another story. But that's kind of that's how I see myself in 40 years. Also, I think I would like to do like a mission with you, that sort of thing. But
yeah, you can do in our church, you can go again as like a couple, an older couple.
Do a mission service
doing that
in places. So that'll be fun.
We won't be doing it just as a couple. Eve will be with us.
Oh, it's true. Eve will always be with us.
Yep. We always remind ourselves, like whenever I'm like, Mom, my kids are going to leave me. It's like, not Eve. Like, you're right. She's never going to leave us.
Always ever. And that's partially why we're recording this right now, because Eve is off with her cousins, so it's quiet. Eve raises the volume of the house quite a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, just aging gracefully. I guess that was the theme of today's podcast. We're all at different stages, but I'm sure we're all feeling it in some way.
All right. Well, yeah.
That's it.
It's good to be back. We needed to just sit down and kind of explain where we've been, because we've been naughty. And we just like
Not
disappeared.
Very responsible people.
Yeah. But we'll be back next week.
Will
I think
we?
we'll be talking about something real next week. I think it's fun to have sometimes where we just shoot the breeze.
Yeah.
But we do love you guys. We do really, honestly, I really enjoy having a podcast. It's very different than a YouTube channel. And in a lot of ways that I really like. And so thanks for being here. And we did ask last time about like anything you'd specifically like to hear about, and we did get your messages.
Oh,
we will be talking about those things. We have looked at those, and we'll definitely address them. There was some questions about discipline and how to do that effectively with your kids. There were some questions about there was lots of questions. So we will definitely be looking at those for our coming podcast, but you're always welcome to email us at contact@norpinsouth.com about any questions that you have or anything specifically you'd like to hear from us about, any comments at all. But we love your reviews. We read those, and we really appreciate the support.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.